Ourselves a little bit of change up on a team blue. Actually, we still gonna have Boom. We haven't yet to see Boom play. Legend Blade gonna go instead of his Paladin into the Rogue. I guess playing Assassination. We got Nerve DH plays with the Fire Mage, one to playing Windwalker, and one EU. Or in the EU playing with some DH. Chill Blade coming in as a Frost Death at Extraordinaire. We got us a Seawork playing Assassination. Killer Jin coming back as a Windwalker Monk. Spart as an Arcane Mage. And Terrence hasn't got to play yet, but he's going to be trying Frost. We'll see how well that works out for him. It looks like Boomstar is going to be the first versus Chillbane. Frost Death Knight versus Destro Warlock. We'll see how well that goes for both of them. Chillbane was trying to pop off some cooldowns just now onto Boomstar. Looks like it's not going to happen as you get in CC chain. That's going to be Malik. AMS is a little bit early. Boomstar is going to port way out into Africa. Has to reflect up and running. That's going to be Chillbane actually waddling back behind the pillar as we see Boomstar popping off a lot of his cooldowns. Cataclysm coming around the corner. Chillbane doesn't want to take the damage of it. Gonna just mess around with the Succubus. Gonna get a lot of transfusion healing off of it. I think he's waiting to get himself a setup onto Boomstar. Gonna get a grip onto him. Boomstar has no way to get out of it. That's gonna be a Horror and CC chains onto Chillbane for a bit. Trick us out of it. Interrupt him onto Chaos Bolt. And Chillbane is lagging a little bit, but he's doing some damage. Even Infernal coming down for Boomstar. Gonna be able to drop down that anti-magic zone for Chillbane, but he's going to get walked out of it. Trying to go for a shot of Fury. Chillbane IBF's out of it. Fury getting kicked right now. That's going to be Boomstar with the ability to cast Chaos Bolt if he wants to. Chillbane needs to be aware of his health in the situation. Gets a stun onto Boomstar. That's going to be Mally to follow. Chillbane barely has any health. Deathback coming out right now. Needs to go for massive heals off of it. Boomstar is at about half health. Trying to drain life through Chillbane. Trying to see if he can juke him out. That's going to be Pet CC off that as Infernal comes down, so it's not going to be some massive AoE damage. Boomstar is going to land a Chaos Ball. Chillbane is probably spamming that AMS. Does get out of that CC at a little last second with that AMS towards the end. He's trying to get a transfusion out of the Pet. Looks like maybe Boomstar just dismissed the Pet completely. Going to be a Horror with a double Chaos Bolt and Incinerate coming down. Chillbane has the Pet to transfuse a little bit from. That's going to be Boomstar has him in a drain life right now. Chillbane needs to wait for some cooldowns up and running. There's going to be some side AOA damage coming in for Boomstar, trying to lure out Chillbane. But he wants to play out the deal. Boomstar doesn't want to put the Pet next to him. Doesn't want to let the Pet do any kind of damage even. Just wants to keep the Pet there for CC. Stun coming in onto Boomstar. CC coming in onto Chillbane. Can Boomstar take him out in a single wombo combo? Trying to go for a Chaos Bolt, maybe even a Horror effect, and does eliminate him. Not a lot of Frost Death that can do against the CC chains the Boomstar can put out. That's going to be Terrence from Age 1 up next. Trying not to get CC by the Pet. Did get an interrupt onto Boomstar though. Cataclysm trying to come out around the corner. Terrence did go invis for a moment. He's going to get freeze onto Boomstar. He's going to go for some big damage. Fear coming down. Is he going to trick it out of it? No, he's not gonna. He's not going to drain life coming up for Boomstar off of his Pet. Terrence needs to get some big shatters happening onto Boomstar. That's going to be a Frozen Orb coming down. Going to do some damage, but Boomstar is going to get those Chaos Bolts chucking out at Terrence. Is going to have to take the damage. Frost Block. Ice Block coming out a little bit early for Terrence as he has two of them being a Frost Mage. So you might as well use them a little bit early. No self-heals available. Trying to land a more Comet Storms onto Boomstar with a Shatter. But needs to get the big damage up and running. Mally to follow is going to be onto Boomstar. Trinket's out of that Horror effect. And Boomstar has a Trinket out of Terrence. Terrence does have Icy Veins though. Does try to get an interrupt on him. Chaos Bolt is going to get chucked at him regardless. Terrence does need to get himself a Temporal Rolling. That is actually a different Pet available for Boomstar. So whatever buffs Terrence has can actually get taken by the Pet and can get eaten as well as interrupt. Keeping the Fellhound on him the whole time. Absorb coming in for Terrence. The Pet could actually steal that Absorb. He does, and Terrence is again out in the open, but he's going to be able to get a Temporal. Maybe some extra healing of the Pet. Maybe getting some health back. That's really about all he can really do. Freezes Boomstar in place. Cataclysm around the corner. Does get an Eye Sense onto Boomstar. And Terrence is going to have to jump down. Frozen Orb coming down, trying to slow Boomstar down. That's going to be Fear. Actually aligns it completely with a Blink. And Reflect coming in for Boomstar. And that's going to be Terrence, I think, actually might have killed himself. That was a Reflex. It could have been anything. Boomstar is actually going to keep the Pet that he's got right now. Lands a Horror into a Fear onto Sparticle. That's going to be a big old Chaos Bolt. Loading up. Shot of Fear off that into maybe a second one. Mally onto Spart right now. Spart needs to find a way to deal with Boomstar. He's going to steal a bunch of Boomstar's buffs right now. Chaos Bolt to follow off that. Spart is going to get hit with an Infernal. Does get a shield up and running very shortly. Another Chaos Bolt to take him, and that's going to be a big old Temporal coming out. The Pet does not eat it. Spart does get a lot of health back as he's able to at least, you know, kind of measure for his own health, measure for his own damage. Is the pet there? The pet is there. So Boomsword does have an interrupt pet, which is going to interrupt Spart on Arcane, putting him in a bad situation. Going to be a Maledict onto Boomsword. Not going to be able to get a lot of healing. That's going to be reflected. Spart maybe can steal. Is he going to go for it? Spart tricking something. Not really sure what, but he's going to get hit with a fear off the bat. That's going to be a horror effect to follow. Boomsword's going to go for big Chaos Bolts, but he's going to ice block it as the Chaos Bolt hits. That's going to be a bit of a... Arcane Missiles coming in. Is it going to be able to line Boomsword with Chaos Bolt? Spart tried to find an angle. That's going to interrupt it as he's trying to get the Arcane Missiles flying. Both of these guys are interrupted for a while. Boomsword is getting a little bit of health over time, so that's really bad for Spart, as Boomsword just has so much sustainability. Trying to see if he can land a shot of hero into Spart. And Spart has him all frozen up. First aid coming out is getting hit with a dot. Not a lot of health recovered, really. He's going to at least be able to get a lot of resources back to back with his RNG talent. Does have arcane power right now. Trying to see if he can get it off of the pet. Trying to use instant cast in order to heal. At 22% dampening is actually allowing him a lot of healing. Boomsword is going to get the reflect up and running. If Spart can somehow steal the reflect and just go damage into Boomsword, the pet can't interrupt him. Boomsword can't do anything about it. That's going to be a lockdown by the Warlock, though, into horror, fear. Chaos was flying, trying to land an Emily. Does line, and Spart is lucky that the lining did happen towards the end there. Has the pet to attack. Boomsword's going to walk at him. Walking out in the open. Does set up a demonic gateway as a way to get the hell out of there. Trying to see if he can cut Spart off. That's going to be dot into Boomsword. Fear to follow into Spart. Does get line on his cast. Spart did have a nice angle for it. Fear coming out again. Spart lines it again. Maybe Spart can get some damage in. Arcane Missiles trying to come out. Walk coming in for Boomsword. Trying to get those Chaos Bolts in there. Does land them and they go flying with a Malio to Spart. Not going to be a good position. Trying to see if he can juke out the pet with Arcane Missiles. Spart is going to go for an Invis just to get himself a bit of a damage reduction buff from it. That's going to also give him a bit of a heal since it is an instant cast ability. That is going to be a horror, fear, lockdown, Emily coming out. Chaos Bolt to follow. Spart just find a way to deal with this. Does get stunned up and just has to take the damage right now. It's going to be double Chaos Bolt. Cataclysm, Spart giving himself a shield up and running. Instant cast coming out. And he's getting a fair amount of health off of this. He's continuing to hit the pet when he can. Get interrupted early right now, which is really good for him. Maybe whenever he goes for real damage to Boomsword, he won't be able to get interrupted. Trying to see if he can land a poly. The poly's himself, which is actually really good for him. That was actually incredibly good. If he sat the full poly, he would have got healed. So for Boomsword, maybe it wasn't a good idea. I don't know if he wanted to polymorph Boom, but polymorphing himself was not a bad idea. So kicked out of the pet, out right now. No reflect for Boomsword for quite a bit of time. Spart finally gets to use some arcane missiles. Does get to interrupt Boomsword. The pet is kind of a far distance. Chaos Bolt's still gonna come out. Cataclysm around the other side. Spart is continuing to use instant cast when he can. Horror to lock him down into a fear, but Boomsword doesn't look like he can do much. No, it's actually gonna be Infernal. It's gonna smack him with one Chaos Bolt. Fear to follow. Swimley coming out. Spart now has to deal with two pets. That's gonna be a lot of damage for Boomsword. Does he have Dark Pact available? Looks like he might have Dark Pact. Not Dark Pact. What is it? Dark Soul. He might have Dark Soul available. Spart is just spamming instant cast to get his health up and running. 15% dampening to work with. Not a lot to really work with. Let's go Boomsword again coming around the corner. Spart maybe could steal that buff. Does try to steal it. I don't think you can actually steal the reflect buff. I think you can take it off when you steal it, but you don't actually like steal it. Evocation coming out for Spart just to get a little bit extra mana in there. And he's still in a really harsh situation. Every time the Horror Fear comes out, he just locked out, man. Can't quite do anything. It's going to be a full Chaos Bolt. Doesn't get lined, at least one of them. Spart's just going to take a lot of damage. Conflict rate by Boomsword, and down he goes. Not a lot an Arcane Mage can do against Boomsword, or at least against a Destruction Warlock. That's going to be a CC Odyssey Arc off the bat as he tries to get his chance at Boomsword. Boom is going to go for Dark Soul damage. Cloak of Shadow is coming out by Boomsword onto, by Seawark right now. Getting a shot onto Boomsword. Trick us out of it. Cataclysm to follow. Trying to max out the damage off of Seawark. Seawark is going to bail out of that. Drain Life is coming out for Boom. Going to be able to get some healing. Seawark is trying to avoid the pet as best as possible. But he's out in the open. Boomsword does see him. Does hit him with a root, I think. I think it's a root DR, maybe. Doesn't end up kicking him on the fear. Casbolt trying to come out for Boomsword. Maybe no Kidney Shot. No! Kidney Shot does come out for Seawark. The pet Succubus CC is on him. They'll try to see if he can force out a Chicken out of this row. Gonna walk out quite a bit of distance. Chaos Bolt with a horror effect at the same time to get him walking another direction. Shadow Fury into a Cataclysm. Maybe another Chaos Bolt to follow. Drain life off of that as he drops down a smoke bomb. Seawark needs to get behind pillow or something. Needs to walk out of that. Drain life is gonna hit him again though. That's gonna be so much damage. Is holding onto a trinket. Lived the one type of burst. One burst combo by Boomsword. We'll see if he can do anything after this. Cloak of Shadows down, evasion available, but not a lot he can really do with it. Does Shadow Step to Boomsword, and he's gonna pour it away. Fear coming out, he's gonna get kicked on. No, Mally hitting Boomsword. That's gonna be tricked out of Seavark though. Get a hit with a Pet Succubus CC as Vendetta coming out. It's gonna be wall out of Boomsword. Gets a Fear onto Seavark with a Chaos Bolt and a Mally. Seavark is kind of in a bad situation. Decide, you know what? I'm just gonna truck some as much damage as I can into Boomsword, but that's gonna be horror effect to dissuade him into a Chaos Bolt. Black comes in, but the only one that was blind was Seavark, as he didn't see just how much damage the Chaos Bolt would have done. He knew that he was in a bad situation, but he put Boomsword in a blind regardless. Killagen is going to be up next in the last man setting in a 30% dampener duel with Boomsword. It just turned through everybody. Destruction Warlock, just really hard to get around, man. That's a really good spec for duels, man. It's actually really hard to beat it. Chaos Bolt coming out for Boomsword. He's going to be able to get some damage into Killa. Stun coming out by Killa. It's going to be Pet Succubus. You see a trick inside of it. Killa tried to get as much value out of damage as possible. The Infernal does come down to stun Killa and disrupt him. Boomsword does get locked out on, I think, Fear. And that's still going to be able to land a Chaos Bolt or two. He's actually in a bad situation as Killagen still has Karma and everything. Maybe that Chaos Bolt would change the deal. Karma coming out. Boomsword in a bad spot. Has Reflect up and running. Can he go for damage? Trying to get another Chaos Bolt into Killa. Maybe thought you could burn through it fast enough with 34% dampening. Not gonna happen. Boomsword finally does go down. Next up is gonna be Oniyu versus Killa. Ibium coming out into Killagen right now, and that's gonna be Killa going down for the count. That's Boomsword taking on 4 people back to back. Not even that much healing, just straight up raw damage. Nobody can come even close to how much damage he did. Spartan even had so much healing going on for him. Boomsword, it's scalable. Lockdown wombo combo is just way too goddamn strong. I like to see Chillbane go up against Gold Tyrion to see how they play out.